What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, jumping back into the comments. We're only about 6 days behind, so we are making good progress. And this is for the Forget About DEC. Let's focus on SPS video coming in from Icy Flows. Repricing in SPS is not enough. There is not enough demand to affect change in the long term. The hype cycle is dead. People understand prices will continue to drop with 3+ more years of emissions and doubling supply. The downward pressure on SPS is too great. And what do we do for rewards beyond the 3 years? Letting DEC collapse by repricing to SPS and ignoring DEC utility would be bad. This would drag down the value of SPS and confidence in the project. SPS is tied to DEC and pools, and it would break the rental market. We would need a comprehensive phase out of DEC. We need to stop being apologists for flawed tokenomics in order to fix everything. There is no demand for a token that only drops. Fair enough. I mean, I've said before, I don't think DEC has a place here anymore. It's not needed. In fact, it creates too much indirect murkiness in terms of utility for SPS, and I would love to see everything given to SPS overall, which was kind of the point of the video, right? I mean, I've talked about this several times in the past, but more recently just saying we should be more focused on the SPS value and utility rather than DEC at this point. You know, I would be very open to an idea about phasing out DEC. The only thing is that we're just too far into it. Everything is priced in DEC. Matt thinks it's a great, the product-backed stablecoin is a great idea. And again, it is an interesting idea, just maybe not for Splinterlands and not at this level, right? There's clearly not enough demand to hold it at peg. So RK says, Bon voyage, thank you. People be on the same idea, fair enough. International Travel Channel, thank you so much for another one. Let's see. Logan Gaming says, Splinterlands team should listen some brutal but true words and sensible advice from Aftersound. Oh, well, thank you. I don't know that I would consider it advice. It's my opinion. That's just where it's at. But it's nice to know other people agree or at least are open to the idea of it. Banana says, but the flywheel, it's so unique and awesome. And yeah, I don't know. Too many tokens and pseudo tokens. I agree. And we're only going to get more. Just wait until land drops. Banana says, if it's not investing, then it shouldn't even cost like 1/1000th of what it does to be competitive. That's kind of the only appeal it has realistically. I'm assuming that this was into... the investing versus playing video. All right, cool. International Travel Channel, thank you again. CBT says, I feel like land has the potential to succeed. It's unique, charming, and strategic. If the world discovers land, I can imagine it becoming the biggest part of the Splinterverse. I mean, I think you share the viewpoint of a lot of optimists here, especially Matt and the team. It's just a matter of actually getting it live. So I don't think anybody... Here, let's put it this way. I don't think anybody has ever looked at land and said, man, the potential of this is garbage. No, the potential of it is amazing, but you can say the potential of any idea is amazing. What it really comes down to is the execution, and so far the execution has been slow and not up to par with what people are expecting from land in the time frame. So Pomp says you can also give out energy based on SPS stake. That'd be interesting, but the team needs to sell cards, and I would give that utility to cards. Plus, from a logical standpoint, I buy cards to play. The more cards I have, the more battles I should have. Independent from rewards, SPS already has its own multiplier for rewards. Again, I mean, that'd be interesting. I'd be curious to see how that works for Moon cards if that launches at some point. Just because they have that based on cards and not based on like the colony staking. So, man, I don't know. At this point, I'm just open to different ideas. Power says, you're my favorite content creator anyway. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Though we do need a conspiracy stream back. I'm trying. Maybe it'll just be me and Keys if Darkest Night doesn't want to play ball. I literally talk to that dude every day, but he won't come on here to do a conspiracy stream until I go back to Atlanta. All right, so Javi says, assets has been down when the bull run happened. I think SPL bull run is a lie. I don't know that I would phrase it that way. I think we're going to miss the bull run, but maybe that's what you're trying to get at. So Pomp says, DEC is a product-backed stablecoin. A product-based stablecoin. They price the new packs too high, and the market is bringing the price down of packs by devaluing DEC. Price should have been max $3. The problem with product-based is that you always need new products, but you can also make it service-based, like selling energy for DEC and only DEC. I mean, at the end of the day, there's still too much DEC for where the community is at. And then they did all this DEC printing activity, such as with the Gladiator cards, which again, it's a one-time thing, but so was the SPS airdrop. It was a one-time thing, and then we just have to recover from it. We were actually sitting pretty for a while, and now here we are. I think my calculation was 300 to 400 million DEC that needs to be eaten up either through market fees, either through buying energy, or hopefully land at some point. All that stuff is going to take some time, and it really just sets us back. Okay, Brave Tofu says the demand for products, i.e. packs cards, depends on SPS. If SPS goes up, there is demand for those, which will drive demand to DEC. The whole economy depends on SPS. So I think you're agreeing with me. I mean, at the end of the day, we just need SPS to go up, right? Like that will drive so much more economic activity. It'll bring more people into the ecosystem. Getting DEC back to peg. If DEC was at peg today, right? If DEC, this is going to be my final argument on this, and final, but meaning I think this is the trump card, right? So if DEC was at peg today, would that bring people into the game? I don't think so. But if SPS was 5x, 10x the value today, it absolutely would, right, Matt? Hell, even do like 2 to 3x, right? People, the amount that people are earning. DEC being a peg is nice, but it's not necessary. I don't know. It's my thought. All right. Pops Fishing says this can be easily achieved via Battle Pass. We already know a game with success using that model, right? Fair enough. But you know what? How much value can they provide to Battle Pass? And we also know that, one, it takes a lot of work. So the team isn't necessarily in a position to be able to do that. And Matt has said several times that they don't think that the player base would really be able to support something to make it worth that while. At least the player base in its current form, definitely not. I mean, are you buying a Battle Pass? I mean, who else is buying a Battle Pass? Are we talking like $20 a month? I don't know. That's a good question. And it all depends on what they're able to offer. Fat Jimmy, shout out to Fat Jimmy, says the team needs to learn how to price things. Packs and promo cards are way too expensive. Yeah, well, I just genuinely think they could get way more activity if they price lower. I know they want to be like a premium game. They're not trying to compete with the free-to-plays out there, and that's fine. But you know what? The higher up you go, the more you lose exponentially in terms of like your customer base, because then you're only going or catering to like the whales at a certain point. For example, the only reason people have a bunch of Baron Fayettes, like the last promo card that came out, is probably because they designed it in a way where people who could spend a ton of money for all the other prizes that they were offering in this event did so and then dumped the cards on the market because it was still economically viable for them to do so. Now, maybe for the team that accomplishes the same goal, they would have ended up selling the same thing anyway. But you know what they wouldn't have? They wouldn't have a bunch of people complaining about how expensive everything everything is in this game and actually just going out and buying it from the team directly. So Davion says, my SPS shares in the LP jumped 2x when SPS token value dropped. I removed from the LP and still thinking what I should do with it. Thinking about staking and renting it out as well. Fair enough. I've been renting out a lot of SPS recently, so I do find that to be valuable. Mario says, let me help the SPS price a little bit by saying, glad I sold. Well, we appreciate your sacrifice. It's just, it may not be enough. We need way more people to start selling. Philosopher says, both are going to zero. GG Splinterlands, get out while you can still get something. Fair enough. I mean, I don't know. Team Phoenix, Philson says, Team Phoenix making you look like a supervillain in that comment. I know, it was an interesting comment to say the least. Sorry Smurf says, DEC was overprinted. Remember when Dwayne was making 90 cents for one battle? A lot of bots were making a lot of money there exploiting the system. I mean, they were taking the free money, bots made by the whales time ago, were the oldest whales in this game. I will not say their name, but you already understood who the owners are of the bot farms. So until we don't consume all the DEC, we don't have a stable peg for DEC. Also, we are not so far from the peg. We are very close. I mean, I wouldn't consider this close. I would consider close like above 8,500 or 850, but maybe that's just me. Just a few more months to Matt. Also, a lot of money are coming into the project against how much are printed and gave out as rewards. The price is low only because a few whales are liquidating old earnings. I mean, you know what? I hope you're right. Sorry, Smurf. I'm obviously not digging that deep into it. I have my skepticism, or I'm skeptical about that claim. Maybe it is just a couple of whales exiting, but then you have to ask yourself, why are whales exiting now? Like, what is it that they're seeing that they don't want to be a part of? Because if whales are exiting, that means new whales are not coming in. And I know people don't like whales, but guess what? Whales drive literally everything in the world, right? Not just gaming, not just Splinterlands, not just crypto, not just the markets, traditional markets, but literally everything in the world. So Drew Ganadin says, take vouchers and DEC out of the game and just focus on SPS. Too many tokens in the game just mess things up. Just like a DEC, all efforts have been made to make it stay at peg, but it only keeps on falling. DEC will never be stable consistently, and the flywheel effect won't happen the way most of us are expecting, and most of it won't happen at all anymore. So good point here. Actually, let me finish your comment, and then I'll jump back in. Now is bull run for crypto, but SPS assets keep on falling, especially like SPS, unlike other crypto assets. In fact, many players are leaving. Yeah, okay, let's be real here. If the rewards we get for playing has little to no value, people will not be interested. After Sound is right, just focus on SPS to increase reward value. Well, I appreciate you agreeing with me. I will say this, to your point, the flywheel is in trouble, and I haven't thought this through as much as I probably should have, and made a video on it. But the flywheel, in my opinion, I believe was going to be driven by DeFi elements, right? Mainly the DEC pools. That's no longer happening, right? Because the DEC pools no longer receive any rewards. And so therefore, the incentive for a bunch of DeFi degens to just come in and start doing the same thing that happened with Terra Luna, right? That happened with Terra Luna. That's not going to happen, which means it's all going to come down to gameplay, and you're going to need those rewards to be sky high. Again, is this still possible? Yeah, of course, right? But the DeFi side is gone now, in my opinion. All right, so Blockchain Project says, oh, interesting. Are you questioning your investment in SPL? That tends to be the very end of the market cycle. I wouldn't say that I'm questioning my investment unless you count questioning all of my life decisions for the last 2.5 years. No, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I like the game element. I think the team is working on some cool stuff, but I try to keep it very, very real with you and very transparent here with you that, I don't know what happens during this bull run. In fact, I have said many times, this is not a prediction, but I've said many times that projects don't get a second chance, right? So many projects across crypto, and I've been in this in the market since 2017. So I saw the 2021 bull run, right? I did a lot of comparison between 2013, 2017, and then of course I saw the 2021 bull run up close here with you guys, right? At the tail end is when I started making content. And yeah, I mean, even so far in this market pump, and yes, I do believe we're generally in a bull run following this, the Bitcoin ETF launch all the way lead up to the Bitcoin halving, and wherever we go from here, I think that there's going to be some kind of crypto bull run, if not a macro bull run. But I've just seen too many projects that pop off their first time around and then they disappear or fade into the background because everybody likes new and shiny. And in the gaming space, particularly, there's a lot of new and shiny. And not only that, if Splinterlands was at its peak, like let's say they had launched GLG and Soulkeep and all these things and everything was just awesome for Splinterlands, I still think it would be difficult for them to compete with the new and shiny. But they're not at that level, right? The game economy is struggling. The teams had to go through some layoffs, and obviously their output is constrained right now. And so it's like you're fighting a battle against a superior force, and you also have like a hand tied behind your back, right? So again, I say all of this as like I do want to keep this primarily as a gaming channel, as even though we talk about a lot of the investment side of things, and it's the game economy that fascinates me. But I enjoy the game for what it is. I'm excited for Land for whenever that comes out. But I do have legitimate concerns about the fact that there's not going to be this massive pump that people think there's going to be. I think if we top out at like 10 cents, we're lucky. I don't know. I mean, I used to think 10 cents like, oh, that's a guaranteed. But with where we are at now, the headwinds we're facing, and just what we know and the timing given, 10 cents again. I'm not trying to make a prediction, but like 10 cents is getting awfully close to the previous market cap all-time high, and I'll make a separate video on that because I was looking at that number recently. But there's just too many tokens out there, and there's not enough people that want them. And understand, even though I know there's money printing everywhere, there's still only a finite amount of money that's going to find its way into crypto, and specifically into crypto gaming. And there's just a lot of other games out there. So it is what it is. All right. So BC says, appreciate the content you make after sound. Sorry you had to respond to the haters. Oh, you don't got to say sorry. It comes with a job. Again, I actually don't mind if people want to hate. That's fine, right? If people want to hate, the salty comments, hate comments, I take it all in stride. It's only when it's just like there were a lot of factual inaccuracies with that statement, and I was like, I need to correct this because this is not your usual like pylon. All right, so Phoenix says, it's understandable that you'll get some salt thrown at you now and again, but personal shots with false info is a pretty crappy thing to have to deal with. I just want to let you know that I watch and appreciate all your content. You keep posting, I'll keep watching. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate that. You are a regular commenter here, so I appreciate your participation in this. Asmon says, Team Phoenix, ignorant, opposite of facts, comments. Okay, I'm not trying to shit all over Team Phoenix here. Again, they put forth a bunch of things. I appreciate all of you guys coming and letting me know, and the support. It means more than you know. I'm not trying to like call him out. It was just literally like I was reading through it. I'm like, none of that is right. And if somebody reads that, then they're gonna think that like I did all those things or I didn't do all those things, right? So, I don't know. It's just I just want the truth to be told. That's it. How you feel about the truth is fine because your opinion is valid, but the truth should be told. All right. Steve says, well, yeah, if we all did more high post and upvote than to each other and buy SPS, that might help, but then they might get mad. I don't know, man. I've said this before. It just feels like Hive has this weird animosity towards Splinterlands. Again, this is totally just me, maybe projection, whatever. And I know some people have even come and like debunked that, but I don't know. There's almost like a weird love-hate relationship. So Vlad says, guys, you are flogging a dead horse. I'm assuming by that you mean the Splinterlands project. Fair enough. Christopher Charles says, we had Rift Watchers for SPS and no one wanted to spend their SPS. How do you explain that we're just going to do this briefly to boost the price of SPS for marketing and then switch back to the old system where we've seen prices steadily collapse? Also, just burn the cards. Again, not against burning the cards. This is in response to the video saying focus on SPS. Because at the end of the day, there's still some people out there, right? Your hardcore folks that are willing to spend thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on this project. And I just believe with the hole that we keep setting up for ourselves with DEC, which again will slowly resolve itself with the economic transactions, right? We burn 2% of the market fees out every single day. If you get those people to spend their tens of thousands of dollars in SPS rather than in DEC, of which we're in a $300,000 to $400,000 hole, it would just be so much better. Plus, you're funding the DAO, right? You're adding some longevity to the DAO in terms of future rewards and all that. And it's like the market fees will take care of themselves again over time, right? But if we're waiting to do both, right, to get the oversupply of DEC down and then focus on the oversupply of SPS, I feel like we can just cut out the middleman. Cut out the indirect utility, go straight to the direct utility, and the indirect will take care of itself. And in the meantime, people will get discounts on whatever it is that they want. I'm not saying to go out and print a bunch more DEC. Again, I it's not like I want to add more. I'm just saying that any new utility, just have that come on and go straight to SPS. And people will slowly and surely start eating up the DEC just by renting cards, just by setting up guilds, just by whatever else the team puts out. All right, so Anthony says, not to mention, I think SPS will be the key factor of NPE. Look, people enter when they know the value they can get. When SPS is higher, the NPE will flow smoothly. I agree. Pomp says, well, with the present system, a player gets 24 battles. On average, they would win 10. Get rid of the energy system and do a daily quest of winning 12 battles. A great player would win 10 out of 10, go higher in rank, take less time. A weak player might win 12 out of 50, go lower in rank. If a player wants to continue playing, he should have the option to buy more battle wins for DEC. This would be interesting. And again, this is getting into like parallel territory because this is what parallel does. You can play as many games as you want. Nobody's stopping you from playing a bunch of games. And then there's a whole leaderboard system there, and it's fantastic. But you can only earn on 5 games per day. And it'd be interesting if they did this where it's just like you can only earn on 12 energy per day or whatever it is, right? But you can buy more like energy slots for burning DEC. And for people that it is an option for, or like right now for people who are like in high diamond, in high and modern. We'll just put it on leaderboard and modern. If it is economically viable to do so, then they will. I don't think that that's a bad idea. All right, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're already at 20 minutes. So let me speed through a couple more, and then we'll call it a day because we're now only 5 days behind. International Travel Channel, I appreciate you. Just want to keep saying it. Fireball says, hey, Aftersound, FYI, you're doing an excellent job on the videos. And another note, I can't wait until we could stake cards on rentals on land. Oh, see, this is the comment that inspired me to do that one. And I gave you a shout out there, Fireballs. Asman says, okay, bro, that's it. You speak of ice cream money, but I don't see it. I expect a video of you buying or eating ice cream. Put your mouth where your ice cream money is. I have some ice cream in my freezer as we speak, so I'll have to go and grab that maybe for a future video. Okay, so Erroneous says, the Grain LP just released on the main server since Trasnac doesn't work for me anymore. This is how I'm going to get DEC outside of getting credits, buying cards and burning them. Interesting. Okay. You can say it's a nothing burger, but it's not. I just sold a bunch of grain to top off my DEC, staking in region 46, and put myself into a position in all 3 regions. Now I'm looking at buying 3 more plots in my region. I will regularly sell and keep using DEC. All right, well, I'm glad you're doing something with land. I don't know that a lot of other people are. Granted, again, if for people who are heavily into land, go for it. I think it's great, right? Because you're going to get such a head start on everybody else. Now, yeah, again, I still think it's a nothing burger. I wanted land or the Grand Old people to burn like hundreds of millions of DEC. I think we've seen, or not burn, but like utilize 100 million or so DEC. I think we saw 19 million in the last video. And sure, yeah, there's a bunch getting burned here and there. But I don't know. Ultimately, it's not as much. I do hope it grows, and I do hope I'm wrong on this in the long term. But just the start of it, obviously coming at a time when things are really not great in the ecosystem, it just wasn't up to par of what I was hoping. So Asma says, hi, I'm noticing you answer some of my comments that are a bit salty. Glad you're a good sport about it. Overall, no, I'm glad your video making efforts, but argumentative and sarcasm need to be put in the comments. If intentions are good, be well. Sorry if I'm reading them the wrong way. I don't take anything here personally. And so if it comes off that way or I get snarky, it's just because. So, yeah, all good, Asman. Alicio says, RK3000, consider this venting really. I slowed down on the salt mine for a few weeks now since I'm selling out and just moving on and taking my loss. Yes, I'm pissed at the team for doing everything wrong in the past 2 years. And no, I don't have a thing for Aftersound. Just consider I've been around and active for at least the past 2 years, and I'm a part of the community with all of you, and have simply have some respect for Aftersound for all he did. I appreciate that. The fact that I don't always agree with him doesn't mean I don't respect him. Simple as that. And the fact that I'm leaving Splinterlands don't mean that I can't follow the news of the game. So yes, you're right. There's no point for me to keep bashing the game. I think I did make my point clear on what I think about the current state of the game. Just put my 2 cents here. Okay. That's keep in mind that what you consider bashing is still coming from an informed and involved place. But I do agree that it's time for me to just move on and take my L and find better Web3 games. So as I've said before, and it looks like Tails responded here, I'll probably say something similar. I've seen Alicios's journey, right? And I know people will look at that and just say, oh, he's throwing salt and he's just salty or whatever. To Tails' point, and I'll back this up for Alicios, right? Alicios has been here for a while, has been an engaged member of the community, has been leaving comments, has been wanting to see, has been offering suggestions. And I say that this is actually a huge net loss for the ecosystem. To lose somebody that actually felt so strongly. You want people who are engaged, right? And so I genuinely, and I've done this before, I genuinely wish Alicios the best. And the game is clearly not going in a direction that he was hoping that it would. And I'm sure that's the case for a lot of folks, right? So he's taking his money, he's going home, he's finding another game. And again, as I said earlier, I think there's a lot of other games out there. I think there's a lot of other opportunity, and it sucks that you're going to have to take that loss. But I do genuinely hope that you're able to make it back at some point in the future, make it back and more. I think, for people that just want to, and I'm not trying to take a shot at RK, right? It is what it is. It's a tough thing because obviously I understand people who are trying to shut down the salt, wanting to have or present a good kind of approach and presentation for many new players that come in. But it's like a double-edged sword. So you end up losing a lot of the folks that are very passionate and want to see some cool things happen within the game. But at the same time, you also want to make sure you're presenting something well for new people and they don't just come in and see the salt. But Splinterlands is still, and again, I'm not well versed in a lot of the other games because I just haven't been keeping up. But in terms of just crypto projects overall that I've seen since 2017, Splinterlands has always had a very solid community that's wanted nothing but the best for it, right? In terms of like, and again, I'm not talking about the trolls, just ignore those, but people that just genuinely try to bring in a lot of interesting ideas and perspectives and want to push the game forward. I mean, I consider myself one of them, right? That's why I make these videos, because I think about the ecosystem a lot, probably too much. And it's like, oh, that'd be an interesting idea. Let me run it by the people on the channel, right? And so, yeah, I genuinely think it's a huge net loss, not a net positive, but a net negative for the ecosystem to lose someone like Alicios, because it's if we're doing that, then it's one thing to kick out the people that are just trying to extract value, right? And when I say kick out, I mean like run them off. But when we lose someone who has been engaged not just with the game itself, but with a lot of the content creators, and has just been part of the community overall, I find that to be a net negative. So I'm not trying to call out anybody or put anybody on a pedestal here. I'm just saying that this situation in and of itself sucks. And again, it's within a broader situation of the game not being in the state that we want it to be. That also sucks, but it is what it is, and we move forward, and everybody makes their own decisions. All right, I'm just going to do a couple more comments here, and then we're going to get to only 4 days behind. Amazing. All right, or maybe we were there a couple days ago. Who knows? All right, the new chest update, and finally we also got the grain to DEC swap. The chests are really phenomenal and brought, in my opinion, some fun back into the game. On the other side, exchanging grain to DEC at 0.1% that you get 100,000 grain is totally bad, but this was expected for the players that spend thousands on land to get pennies back. Yeah, but this was expected. Again, grain was never going to be this like huge moneymaker. And again, I don't know how long you've been in the game or what your expectations were, but Matt and team set the grain price on the store at 1 DEC per 1 grain, knowing that it would be significantly less than that, right? Significantly less than that, and expecting it to be significantly less. So I'm not surprised to see where it is now. Grain is not supposed to be something that you make a ton of money on. And even if you were going to make a ton of money on it, it's not going to be now because there's nothing to spend that grain on. And what I mean by that is people don't have anything else to go for. Land 2.0 and all the other resources out there, right? People that want to collect wood or stone or whatever it is that they need their workers for, they need to have... they would then need to be net buyers of grain, not net sellers of grain. And so all of a sudden you'd see that price start to go up over time. So it's not good right now. I think it'll get better in the future, but that is also assuming everything with land goes through okay. Al Rashid says, this is all wild. I've been playing in Champion for the first time, mostly with silver level cards. Yeah, wild is that's not great. Okay. I think we are good for now. I'll go ahead and leave this at the 4-day mark, and then we'll come back and knock it out in a different video. That is all I have for you guys in this one. Again, appreciate everybody for taking the time to leave comments and even just watch these videos to watch the replies. But you are awesome, and we will have a town hall later this week, so something to get very excited about. Catch y'all later. Peace.